Lemon Amiga presents a Playguide video review. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hi there, welcome to another Lemon Amiga Playguide and review. In this week's episode, we'll be checking out Overkill, developed by Vision and published by Mindscape in 1993. Like many AGA games, this does not begin with a space intro. Instead, it begins with a number of static screens, and the first one blends into the high score table if you leave that to run long enough. See a few examples of my highest scores, and it's great that it gives us a long list of high scores in this game. You can see up to 45 high scores can be saved. It's a WHD load version. And you may be wondering, TWB there, what does that stand for? Well, apparently the copyright holders of this game were the Wild Bunch, and they also jointly held the copyright for somewhere else, and so TWB is on the title screen. By pressing fire, we get to choose the joystick options, either one joystick per player, or one joystick for two players, or even two joysticks for two players. But unfortunately can't play simultaneously, so let's just try that one player mode. Before each level, we are also given a demo-like effect, and that is also a great addition to this game. But let's just move on to the first level and check that out. In Overkill, we get to control the main spaceship in this Defender clone, and just like Defender, we'll be attacked by raiders which show along that map on the very top of that screen, and we have to destroy all of those in order to complete each level. By destroying those raiders, we can also pick up some power-ups, and those will increase our firepower, maybe giving us directional shoot and even auto-fire, but you can see that I'm actually using the auto-fire on this playthrough, seeing as that makes the game infinitely easier. If you hold down the normal fire button, then the game will fire one missile every second, and that is not good enough as an auto-fire in this game. After every level, you'll be presented by the map screen, which in this case is a solar system, and by choosing the outer rim planets, those are the first three in the first level. And so the first level is split into three stages. Let's check out stage 2. At the beginning of each level, all the people that we need to save will parachute out of a dropship, and you can also collect those by hovering over those people for extra score, but the main aim of this game is to shoot down all these bad guys and avoid all the bullets. And you may be surprised to learn that this game was actually coded by Mark Sibly, who tried to convert this into 3D very successfully with his very famous successful game Guardian, which appeared in 1994, a year after this release. This being an AGA game, the graphics are drawn in 256 colours with very subtle parallax clouds and subtle parallax backgrounds to give us that depth perception. And it is very easy and very quick to clear a level sometimes with that auto fire, but as I say, a joystick with an auto fire is really a great option to play this game in order to get all the way through it. Otherwise you may find yourself a little frustrated, keep jamming that fire button very rapidly to gain some kind of progress in this game. but progress is hampered because the flight mechanism is very quick, and if you collide with those enemies you'll die, and if you wander straight into those bullets you'll die. So it's the art of picking off one or two of the raiders and then turning around simply to stop wandering into their firepower. Though the graphics are tremendously well drawn, you can hear that the sound effects have more or less taken a backseat in this game, being the very stock minimal sound effects that the programmer thought possible. There's no in-game music apart from that thumping track at the beginning, and this game is a hardcore rock game, if only there were greater sound effects. Perhaps the greatest sound effect is the explosion sound, and that was reused in Guardian AGA the next year, and that's perhaps the most meaty explosion sound that one could have hoped from this game. But apart from that, we also get some voice sound effects from those guys floating around the bottom of that screen, and if you die, of course the enemies don't die, of course you still have to blow those up, and the Guardians at the end of this level are difficult with the stock firepower. And these intermission screens give us an idea that the two-player mode is split between two different players in alternative rounds, and it's a pity that both those players can't play the same game. If you lose the best firepower, then this game becomes a chore even with auto fire, and because there are so many levels, we are still yet to get off World 1. So let's try again and again inch forward, although taking on the enemies in a straight line is difficult because they will fire on target, and so sometimes turning around very quickly is the art of this game. But as you can see, it is not very user friendly when it comes to these end of level bosses. Sometimes the player will lose a succession of lives just trying to get through those bosses in World 1. So whilst you see me eventually getting through those bosses, I'll just mention the coder of this game was Mark Sibly, who went on to Guardian in '94 after this for Acid Software, and then from there he became famous for the Gloom series. Gloom AGA began in 1995. And Gloom Deluxe appeared on the Guildhall label in 1996. These great graphics were also created by Rodney Smith, who went on to Overkill in 1995, and he's probably most famous for creating the graphics to the Skidmarks series, Skidmarks which appeared in 1993 on the Amiga, and Super Skidmarks which appeared in 1995. Also, Kurt Butler and his brother Hans Butler worked on the graphics to this game, and as we've mentioned before, Hans Butler went on to Guardian in 1994. Unfortunately, I could not find a music credit for the creator of the title music, but that was extremely well done and is great music on this game. But finally, we've made it through onto the next set of worlds, which are again blue worlds, but they move on to the next section. And each section, each world in this game is a different theme, and this time the theme is like a cave theme with a purple effect. So let's just wait for that to load off that hard drive, and this is the WHD load I'm using at the moment. After completing a world, we are given a life for free, but that is no great shakes because these levels are difficult, and even with that auto fire and the best upgrades, the biggest players will still have to be on their best behaviour playing this game. And so this isn't as far as I've ever got. I've actually got to the third or the fourth world, but trying this game again so long after playing that in the Lemon Amiga competition, you can see I'm very rusty at it. In fact, I tried to record at least 4 games after this playthrough just to see if I could get any further, and I didn't actually get off level 1 during the whole of that time. Back to this play guide, and you can see certain things swarming around the screen like worms, and you'll find worms and snakes later on. And at the moment this game is highly reminiscent of the 8-bits, only with more updated graphics. And you can see mines on the floor as well if you collide with those. And you can see that destroying those aliens won't destroy the mines or the guys waiting at the bottom of that screen to be collected. And even though the weapons are great and we have a great set of explosions when they blow up, unfortunately hammering the fire button and trying to steer this craft at the same time as watching that radar is impossible, and so you will really need auto fire to get fun out of this game, otherwise you may find it a little frustrating. On to the next level, and the levels in this game really have a gradual learning curve because it's difficult all the way and there is really no breaks in the action, so you either get very far in this game or be very frustrated and don't get anywhere. So yet again it's a hit or miss affair, but even though the gameplay is lacking in certain departments, it is a step up from Star Ray and some of the other Defender clones that we got on the Amiga. And of course these graphics make up for a lot, including the lack of sound effects. We are awarded extra lives at score checkpoints, and so at 75,000 we actually earned an extra life on this game, and that's why we went up to 2 lives, and so that's why we are still playing this game right now. Having said all that, this game still ranks up as one of the very best Defender clones on the Amiga, perhaps only bettered by Guardian, and this is certainly a step up from other less worthy Defender clones on the Amiga. And if you want a perfect clone, well, check out Datastorm by Visionary Design. This stage we also find a few guardians, and those are worms. Of course, if we run very quickly in the opposite direction, then we'll catch up to the tail of those, and if they turn around, hopefully we can hit those head on, and that's the easy way to defeat those worms. So some of the bosses aren't very difficult to negotiate and get through in this game, and you can see out of the 16 levels which are complete in Overkill, we have yet to reach the first quarter stage. But here we go, after some more loading we find the next level, and this is the final level as far as I know that we'll finally get to in this play guide. Moving on to those scores, the lowest score came from Amiga User International, issue 7. They gave this 71%, but in the very next issue, issue 8, they actually revised that and put this game up to 80%, so mixed opinions there. The second lowest score apparently comes from the Lemon Amiga database, at 72%, and then we move on to CU Amiga, who gave this 80%, Amiga Format gave Overkill 84%, Amiga Power gave it 84%, Amiga Action gave this 86%, Amiga Force gave it 88%, Amiga Computing gave this 88%, and the One Amiga gave this an incredible 89%. And so this game does have a mixed opinion of ratings, but if you discount all those moaning, quibbling ones, then we get to these, and that gives this game an average score of 8.5 out of 10, which I don't think is so bad, and this game could have been a lot worse. It's certainly an amazing game by an amazing coder, and any Defender professional players out there should check this game out. before we leave this review, let's just take a quick look at the long play available on YouTube, and that was uploaded by Alex76GR. He admitted he used save states to create his long play, and he used autofire as well. As you can see, there are 6 different worlds in Overkill, and this is the 4th world, which looks quite colourful, and the 5th world, which looks almost Star Wars-like, and maintaining that Star Wars theme, this is the final world, which looks like you're riding around on that Death Star. So I hope you can check out this game, and I hope you can play this sometime on your AGA Amiga. Thank you for watching another Lemon Amiga Playguide and review. Thank you.